Morning, everyone. Good morning. Thanks for joining us. Appreciate you making the drive out here. This morning, my name's Steve Barnes from the AG's office. This morning, part of the presser you'll be hearing from New Jersey Acting Attorney General Andrew Bruck, from Colonel Patrick Callahan, Superintendent of the New Jersey State Police, Jeffrey Matthews, Special Agent in Charge of the ATF Newark Field Division, Acting Special Agent in Charge Bradley Benavides from FBI Philadelphia, from the Acting Camden County Prosecutor Jill Mayer. After the speakers have a chance to make brief remarks, we'll have Q&A. You can ask questions. Given the number of speakers, please, if we could keep this to an on-topic Q&A, that would be greatly appreciated. And with that, we'll get started. Be joined by our speakers, please.
Good morning. We are here today to announce criminal charges against 11 alleged members of a trafficking ring, a criminal network that sold dangerous, illegal weapons into New Jersey. Thanks to the terrific police work of the New Jersey State Police, ATF, FBI, and our other law enforcement partners, we have seized 20 illegal firearms, including 2 assault rifles and 8 ghost guns, as well as multiple large-capacity magazines. This operation is part of our ongoing effort to dismantle the organizations that funnel illegal firearms into this state and into this city. As prosecutors and as law enforcement officers, we have seen how weapons of war are bloodying the streets of Camden, and we're committed to cutting off the supply lines. Here in New Jersey, we're confronting a dilemma faced by a number of northeastern states. We've got strong, robust gun safety laws that are designed to keep the most dangerous weapons away from those who are most likely to use them. But increasingly, criminals are looking outside our state to jurisdictions with lax gun laws to obtain the firearms that they need to commit crimes. That makes it all the more important that we crack down on interstate gun trafficking to protect the residents of New Jersey and to stem the tide of gun violence. That's especially true when we're talking about so-called ghost guns. As I think many of you know, these are weapons that are sold in parts and then assembled by the purchaser. They're designed to take advantage of a perceived loophole in federal gun law. There are some folks who take the view that because these weapons are not fully assembled at the time of sale, they're not technically firearms, and therefore they're not subject to the common sense rules that apply to all gun purchases. Those are rules like mandatory background checks to keep guns away from terrorists and domestic abusers and convicted felons, or the requirement that a weapon include a serial number so that we can trace it back to the buyer or the seller if it's used in a crime. But it's precisely because these ghost guns aren't currently subject to federal rules that they're an especially attractive weapon for criminals. We need to close this loophole, and I'm proud to say that New Jersey is working with the ATF to do so. Now, thankfully, under Governor Murphy in New Jersey, we criminalized ghost guns in 2018. So even in the absence of federal action, we're using the tools that Governor Murphy gave us to take dangerous weapons off the street. This past year alone, New Jersey's law enforcement agencies have recovered approximately 200 illegal ghost guns. And today, we add 8 more to that number, thanks to the work of our federal, state, county, and local partners. The announcement today is the result of an investigation that actually originally focused on the theft of motorcycles and ATVs. And my friend, Colonel Callahan, will be describing that more in a second. But I want to close by saying this. This is simply the latest action in our multi-pronged effort to end gun violence in New Jersey. It's an effort that includes criminal prosecutions like this one, but also focus on violence intervention programs that are community-led and data-driven. We recognize that we cannot arrest our way out of this problem, and we will continue using every tool and resource at our disposal to rid the state of illegal and dangerous weapons that threaten the lives of our fellow residents. And with that, I'll turn it over to the Superintendent of State Police, Colonel Patrick Callahan. Thank you.
Thank you, Attorney General Brooke. And thank you to the partners that are here, and certainly to the troops that are over here off camera, who are the backbone of this operation. And thank you to the Prosecutor Mayer, for hosting us. I'm just going to provide a few more details about this investigation and the resulting charges in the indictment and change in this operation by the Division of Criminal Justice. When our Motor Vehicle Crime South Unit began Operation Grab and Go, which is what this operation was called last September, they were focused on thefts, as the operation of the name suggests. Specifically, they were investigating thefts of motorcycles and all-terrain vehicles, as the AG said. Our detectives developed information that Lamar Soto of Camden allegedly was the leader of a theft ring that targeted such vehicles. He allegedly was working closely in his criminal ring with his brother German Soto, others including his sister Selena Soto and associate Ruben Zayas. Our detectives conducted a series of controlled purchases of stolen motorcycles from the ring. 20 stolen motorcycles in total by the end of the investigation, and they identified 11 defendants who allegedly conspired in this vehicle theft ring. In addition, we learned that certain ring members allegedly were dealing methamphetamines and cocaine, and those ring members allegedly included Lamar Soto, German Soto, Zayas, and another defendant named Wendell Bethea. But that was not all. As the investigation continued, our detectives developed information that certain ring members allegedly were trafficking illegal weapons. This criminal activity allegedly involved Lamar Soto, German Soto, Zayas, and Selena Soto. At this point, of course, the scope of the investigation expanded greatly, and additional law enforcement partners joined our investigation, and those partners included more of our New Jersey State Police units, the ATF, the FBI South Jersey Violent Offender and Gang Task Force, and the Camden County Prosecutor's Office. Over a period of several months, our detectives, assisted by these partners, conducted a series of controlled purchases of illegal weapons. In total, these purchases led to the recovery of 20 guns, including the following: 2 assault rifles, one of which was a ghost gun, 7 ghost gun polymer 80s, 9mm semi-automatic handguns, and 11 other handguns. They also recovered 2 illegal large-capacity ammunition magazines. The Ghost assault rifle was purchased for $3,000, and the Ghost handguns ranged in price from $1,350 to $1,900 for a Ghost handgun with a large-capacity magazine. All 11 defendants face serious criminal charges. 9 are charged with first-degree racketeering. They include Lamar Soto, who also faces first-degree charges of the following: promoting organized street crime, leader of a firearms trafficking network, and distribution of methamphetamine. In addition, Lamar Soto, German Soto, Zayas, and Selena Soto face various weapons charges. For Lamar Soto, German Soto, and Zayas, those charges include multiple counts of unlawful possession and disposition of a firearm without a serial number. What we call ghost guns were also referred to as privately made firearms. All 11 defendants face a second-degree charge of conspiracy to steal, receive, and traffic stolen motorcycles and ATVs. And Lamar Soto, German Soto, Zayas, and Bethea face various drug charges. And in closing, the results of this investigation are a testament to the thoroughness and persistence of our detectives and certainly of our partners who pursued every single lead to uncover this illegal weapons trafficking operation. And although illegal weapons are almost always involved with organized criminal activity, the criminal activity does not always involve the trafficking of illegal weapons, especially ghost guns, which are purposely designed to make it difficult for law enforcement to trace. The success of an operation of this magnitude can only be made possible through intelligence-led policing, collaboration, and information sharing among our county, local, state, and federal law enforcement partners. Cooperative operations like Operations Grab and Go are without question making our communities safer, and I commend the outstanding work of our state police detectives and all the agencies involved. The lesson of Operation Grab and Go is clear. Opportunistic criminals who are eager to turn a profit with any illicit product they can sell know that there is a ready market in New Jersey for illegal guns, especially untraceable ghost guns and deadly assault rifles like those allegedly sold by 4 of these defendants. But the message we are sending this morning to such criminals involved in that activity with Operation Grab and Go is also clear. And that message is, if you traffic illegal guns into our communities, we will arrest you and prosecute you using New Jersey's tough gun laws. We'll work collaboratively as we did in this operation, and we'll also work relentlessly because we have no higher priority than protecting our residents from gun violence. With that being said, it's my privilege to introduce the Special Agent in charge of the ATF Newark Field Division, Special Agent in charge, Jeff Matthews.
Thank you, sir. Good morning. My name is Jeffrey Matthews, and I'm the Special Agent in charge of the ATF Newark Field Division. Although it says Newark Field Division, we cover the entire state of New Jersey. So today I stand alongside our local, state, and federal partners to give a public service reminder to all would-be firearms traffickers, armed drug dealers, and trigger pullers that we will continue to leverage our federal resources with our state and local partners, including ATF's National Tracing Center, as well as our National Integrated Ballistic Information Network, to do our best to identify and remove those violent criminals from our neighborhoods, the ones that are causing the death and destruction in our streets, and make our community safer for all the people that live there. With that, I would like to commend the hard work of the investigators on this investigation. It's a perfect example of the collaborative efforts and how successful they can be when the federal, state, and local teams come together. I just want to say thank you very much for allowing us the opportunity to participate in this investigation and look forward to additional opportunities to work with you to try to stem the flow of illegal firearms into and throughout the state of New Jersey, as well as to hold trigger pullers and those responsible for violent crime in our neighborhoods accountable. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Brad Benavides. I'm the acting special agent in charge of the Philadelphia Division for the FBI. On behalf of the FBI South Jersey Violent Offender and Gang Task Force, I'm a proud partner with all our state and local partners in this investigation. Gun violence devastates communities and families, and shutting down illegal gun trade is vital to reducing violent crime and saving lives. Operation Grab and Go is a great example of how one investigation started looking at stolen motorcycles and ATVs, but quickly expanded into other violations of law. I want to underscore the great relationship that we have, FBI has, with our state, local, and our federal partners, and a message to anyone that wants to traffic in firearms. The FBI will stand ready to hold you accountable and bring you to justice. And with that, I'd like to hand it over to Acting Camden County Prosecutor Joe Mayer.
Thank you, and thank you, General. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm pleased to host all of you here today, but I'm much more pleased and proud that we're here today to discuss a case that resulted in the collaborative use of law enforcement resources to come to such a fantastic result in this case, and to use one of the single most important tools that we have at our disposal in law enforcement, and that is cooperation and collaboration between agencies at all levels who are focused on a successful outcome. Whether it's dangerous firearms, especially ghost guns and assault weapons, narcotics trafficking, or other violent criminal enterprises, true partnerships between agencies is critical. This case would not have been as successful if each agency had stayed within their silo. As a former bureau chief of the Specialized Crimes Bureau in the Division of Criminal Justice, I know firsthand the level of interagency cooperation it takes to put a case like this together. And it is not just the cooperation of the investigative staff of all the agencies involved. That's important, but it's the cooperation and collaboration between the assistant prosecutors in the county and our federal partners, as well as the Deputy Attorney General in this case. As was mentioned earlier, when you look at this case, it started as a motor vehicle theft investigation and resulted in so much more. Here in Camden County, we are fortunate to have several law enforcement entities operating in this space in the city and throughout the county. Sometimes that can lead to an overlap of targets in our investigations. So it's truly critical that we have partnerships that are built on trust and a genuine desire to assist each other for the good of the operation. And that was what was done here. But the hard work of investigating these complicated and important cases doesn't end here. We are thankful to our law enforcement partners at the Attorney General's Office, the New Jersey State Police, the FBI, the ATF, whose hard work and cooperation we applaud today, but whose continued partnership we look forward to strengthening. So thank you.
All right. So before we take a couple of on-topic questions, I just want to acknowledge all of the folks who did the hard work to make this case possible. So in addition to the folks who are standing up here with me, I want to recognize from the New Jersey State Police, Detective Jorge Rivera, who was the case agent for the Motor Vehicle Crime South Unit, and Trooper Jake D'Angelo of the Field Operations Section, who provided critical assistance. The investigation was supervised by Lieutenant Thomas Virgilis of the Motor Vehicle Crime South Unit, Detective Sergeant Jerome Moran of the Crime Suppression South Unit, and Lieutenant James Carnival of the Gangs and Organized Crime South Unit. From the Division of Criminal Justice, we have Deputy Attorney General Sitnikova, who is the lead prosecutor, will be the lead prosecutor for the Specialized Crimes Bureau under the supervision of Deputy Bureau Chief Valerie Butler, Bureau Chief Eric Daub, DCJ Deputy Director Anne Marie Taggart, and DCJ Director Lindsay Rotolo. This was an outstanding operation that stopped 20 guns from being trafficked into our state, and it's the work of a lot of people who worked really hard on this case. So with that, we'll take a couple of on-topic questions. Sure.
Have any of these guns been traced to crimes that you know of?
So the investigation is ongoing. We're not in a position to share that information, but as with any gun that we seize as part of a criminal investigation, we do a trace with ATF and through the State Police Crime Lab to determine whether they hit off any prior crimes.
I know you said that the guns are coming from states with looser gun laws, but do you know which states specifically?
So we're not in a position to share that right now. Suffice to say that they are coming, some of these weapons are coming from out of state, and they're coming from states with laxer gun laws. Also, one of the challenges that we have with ghost guns, we don't even know where they're coming from because they're purchased without a background check and they're not stamped with a serial number. We know they're not being produced here in New Jersey. We know they're coming from elsewhere. And we know that they're taking advantage of loopholes either in other states or under federal law. Anyone else?
This might be a better question for the FBI, but I know the homicide rate in Philadelphia has really gone through the roof. Do you think some of these guns might be coming from Pennsylvania and from Philadelphia and contributing to the problems there?
So I think we're not going to speculate on where specific guns in this investigation came from, but if you'd like to speak generally on violent crime in Philly.
No, I mean, I agree. We can't talk about the particulars of the investigation at this time, but suffice to say, any illegal gun taken off the street is a good thing for the city of Camden, for the people of Camden, but we can't get into the specifics at this point.
One point I will make is that we have a really good partnership with Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro, and I think it was last year we announced that we had created a interstate gun trafficking sort of investigative team, and we work closely with them on a number of cases, and we're also working with the Pennsylvania AG's office to try to identify how we can support the ATF in their efforts to close the federal ghost gun loophole. Anyone else? Thanks so much for coming. Have a nice day.
Hey, Petra. I don't think we've actually met.
I don't think so, but we know her, right?
Yeah.
Nice to meet you.
No, you too. Your office are always pumped to look at your work.
Oh.
I asked that I see you all the time.
Yeah.
It's kind of awkward. If you ever need anything.
Oh, and
Oh, should we exchange numbers or emails?
I'll give you my card.
I never remember very much, but I'll send you a text.
Yeah, just shoot me a text.
Okay.
All right?
That was nice to meet
Nice to meet
you.
you. Take care.
You too.
Alvarez, we went down, we went to,
Jose, take care.
take care, good to see you, say hi to Tom.
Will do.
We went to, Atlantic City, we went to see the best fly, I think it's for Orlando.
Oh, yeah.
We got to fly on the, Guy Cook Sky. Oh, that's awesome, dude, it was phenomenal. Phenomenal, the guys were doing busting my balls, they were doing like barrel rolls and all that stuff, it was fantastic. What were you shooting? So foam and GoPro. Oh, the foam was better than anything else. It was kind of funny though. You know, the frame rate of the phone wasn't matching with the propeller, so it looked like the propeller was stopped.
Yeah.
Like, it just looked like it was like really slow.
Yeah.
But
I love
it
that
was
shot.
incredible video.
Yeah.
I mean, just over AC, barrel roll up. Every once in a while I was like, whoa!
Did it go up?
They did. They were coming in for a landing, and then they surprised, and then they go, and you're just like, you're stuck. Your G's got you. You're stuck in the chair. You barely move. You're like trying to hold your thumb and show what's going on, and you can't.
Yeah, you're supposed to like,
No, there were pedals.
Oh,
but I don't touch those pedals. I'm just. I'm the gunner, dude. I'm the gunner. But it was awesome. We got together a really cool piece, and it was. But here's the problem. I spent Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday down there.
Yeah.
And I worked on cancel. Long day, like it was just like go from start to finish. You just gotta go, and it was smoking right there. I mean, your trips up and down the beach, and I knew I could get it. So it's really does give a whole sort of a chance to get that. There's no time to do anything. You got to do a noon, 4, 5, 6, but gather all your shit between.
Right. So you did the practice days too then?
So I did practice Tuesday, but I didn't have a lot of videos because I was cutting stuff on Monday. We had 2 different events on Monday, the Sky Typers and then the Thunderbirds came in. Thunderbirds were late. So, and then all that GoPro video was a pain in the balls, and we just into our system, so it takes forever. So that was like.
Going in real time?
It's actually 3 times.
look it up. I mean, you can see it.
Yeah, we talked about you there.
Yeah,
He took a couple, no way, I'll show you the pictures. He took us a couple good pictures.
Isn't he too skinny? He's getting too skinny?
He looked, he was very skinny, you're right. Right, we talked about that.
Who else?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, you gotta build muscle, man. He's like, dude, I'm lean.
That's what management did to him. They leaned him
Yeah.
out of it.
I said, yeah, but when you're as old as we are, lean, you can't be this lean, man, because then you look like an old man. But he's in good shape, though.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, he eats well, exercises. I'm gonna build some muscle. That's my defense, if he was
So there's Alex.
Was he a different plane than you?
Well, I couldn't, so they said they overbooked it.
Yeah.
So, well, this is one piece of video, check this out. still was gorgeous. I mean, look, and then he just fucking just fades away and goes under. Just, wow.
It was not a little steady cam or just hold it over your head?
Just hold it in my hand. You know how it is though. It does steady it for you. Land between after a while. It's on steady.
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Anyway, that was mine.
Yeah.
All right, Tommy, take
All
care
right,
of yourself.
fellas.
Good luck. Is somebody coming for your tire?
Yeah, but I gotta call my fleet.
Tell Diana and Rocco I said hi.
Yeah, I'm on that.